You're listening to Convenience Matters, brought to you by NACS. We'll talk about what we see at stores and what the future may hold for our industry.
Hey everybody, it's Britt with NACS, and I'm here with my colleague Chrissy.
Hello.
And she and I are also here with Anthony Perrine, who's the owner of a two-store company called Lou Perrine's Gas and Groceries. And I'm just going to let him run with this. Anthony, tell us about Lou Perrine's and why it matters and what you have been up to.
Sure. Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. Thanks, Dax. Lou Perrine's is a staple in our hometown, so we're located in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I always like to say we're more than just a gas station, and that encompasses everything we do. We sell gas and groceries and convenience store items, and my one location has an Einstein bagel inside of it. And we're famous for our Mama P's ho-ho cakes, but I've always believed that convenience stores are kind of community hubs. And we've kind of operated that way since my grandpa started it. I'm third generation, so we've been around like 68 years actually last month. And so I grew up in the business. Literally since fourth grade, I was stocking coolers, and then in middle school I had to work full time. So I got to see it evolve into what it is today. And then I took over in 2010. But my grandpa always had a motto. He says they're not just customers, they're family. And Kenosha is a booming town right now, over 100,000 people, but it wasn't always that large. And it used to be a small union town. We had some manufacturing here. So there was this kind of connection to the community since my grandpa started it. And so when I got active and got involved and then eventually took over the business, I decided to really lean into that I knew I didn't have the financial means, and I was a little late to the game to try and be a 500-600 store chain. And I just decided to own the fact that I'm the little guy. And we tried to place ourselves in the community through marketing partnerships, through the local municipality, through the school district, as kind of a staple in the community. And the cool thing about our town is we have a few guys like me in different industries, where some have been here 100 years, some are going on 60 years, 70 years. And I think as a small operator, it was I say marketing gimmick, but it was much more than that, because it is heartfelt that, we're part of this town and we've been here and the town's been good to us. And so being able to play into our history, our story, and being so boots on the ground in the community, we have our ear to the ground, I guess you could say, knowing what's going on, what's the need, what's happening. And so kind of became a gas station on steroids, I guess.
I absolutely love that. The idea of being, hey, I'm the little guy. I've got two stores. You said it's been around for 68 years. You just opened store number 2. So that one store has been the staple for all of these decades.
Well, hang on. Store number 2. When did you open it? Because this is important.
Sure.
This is important to the story.
Yes, for sure. And so when my dad had multiple stores when I was a kid, he had 3 or 4. But when I took over, it was just the one. We had our staple down on Sheridan Road. It's kind of been our hub. And in April, I expanded and opened our second location here in Kenosha. And it was a kind of a partnership with the city to an extent. It was an abandoned old mobile store that closed down in the Great Recession and had been sitting empty for almost 10 years. And so we made an approach to the community and said, hey, we'll revitalize this. We'll bring it back to life, get it back on the tax roll, and make this corner beautiful again. And so we opened our doors in April and added our Einstein bagels to it as well. And so, yeah.
How's that going?
Good. It was a little chaotic at first. I'm not a coffee drinker, and so I quickly had to learn how to be a barista and learn all the different kinds of coffees, and now I drink coffee every day. So I went from
skills, Anthony.
Yeah, exactly. So if this all fails, I can put it on my resume for Starbucks. And
I love that. I love that. How often? So your family's been around for a long time. The store's been around for a long time. How often are you out and about and you see a Lou Perrine's sweatshirt or an I Heart Ho-Ho Cake sweatshirt? Like, is it on the daily?
It is a lot. It is really a lot and has gotten to be a lot. When I took over, I really pushed hard into merch. I realized that we had a brand. Sometimes it's just our logos. I had it strategically made to impersonate my grandpa in a cartoon character. And then when I launched the Mama Peace Ho-Ho Cake, I made my mom into a cartoon character. And a lot of kids like it and a lot of people like it. It's kind of cool, I think. My favorite story is not this last NACS show, but the last time NACS was in Vegas. I was sitting at a craps table and the dealer said to me, I love that logo. What is Lou Perrine's? And so I got to share my story because I was wearing my hoodie. And so we did a lot of partnerships with schools where the kids, we give out free shirts on homecoming at the local high school, or during National T-shirt Day, we gave out thousands of shirts, because at the end of the day, if people are willing to wear it, no matter how they look, they are a walking billboard.
And they're also willing to get it tattooed on their body, apparently, thanks to you.
That was good. Perfect segue. Beautiful, because we talk about that being like a cohesive design. You have a family of designs, right? That's literally made up of your family.
It's permanently on people.
So tell us about this tattoo story. Where did this come from, and what made you think of such a harebrained idea?
So I got the idea from a guy at the gym. I was working out, and there was this guy. There's a grocery store chain here called Woodman's, and he had their logo on his calf. And I just went up and asked him one day, I'm like, are you a Woodman family? Like, are you part of who they are? And he says, no, I've just worked there for 20 plus years, and they're a great company, and I really love them. I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay. So for our 60th anniversary, I wanted to do something wild, wanted to do something big. And I just came up with this idea to say, I went to a friend of mine who's a tattoo artist and said, listen, I'm just thinking, what if we gave out some tattoos? I paid for them all. And as part of our 60th anniversary, let's see if anybody shows up. And she said, fine. And so we did the event on a Monday, and so Friday night I went on Facebook Live getting a Lou Perrine tattoo on my shoulder, and just thought it would be silly and a gimmick. I really didn't think anybody was going to do it. I just thought it might just get a buzz and people talking, and so the tattoo event was scheduled to start at Monday at like 9 a.m. at the tattoo place downtown. And I get a call at 6:30 from Jen, who is the tattoo artist. And she says, hey, we got a little bit of a problem. We got people lined up here at 6:30 in the morning. And so I went down there, and sure enough, I made something like I was going to do the first, I don't remember, 25, 50 tattoos. Well, we, by 9 o'clock, had 100 plus people in line, and had to turn some away because they just didn't have enough people. And the whole gimmick was, well, I'll pay for the tattoo. You can get anywhere on your body, whatever you want to do, either our Lou Perrine logo, my grandpa, or our saying that we have on the back of the shirts that says, I Heart Ho-Ho Cake. If they got the Lou Perrine tattoo, they got double points whenever they came in on their loyalty card for a whole year. And if they got the I Love Ho-Ho Cake, anytime they came in and made a purchase, they showed the tat, they can get a free slice of Ho-Ho Cake with any purchase. And so people showed up and came out in numbers, and
Have you thought of having like a tattoo reunion? I feel like you need to have like how are those tattoos looking 8 years later kind of thing, come on into the store.
Some of the people still come around. I mean, a majority of them do. And so some of them still talk about it when they come in, or some of them still try to get the extra points or a Ho-Ho Cake just because.
Hey, yeah, I got the tattoo. Come on, give me a break here.
I know. That's pretty much how it is. And, it made the local news. It made the Milwaukee news station. They did a thing on it. And so
what would Grandpa think about this?
He would roll over in his grave. So
Was Grandpa anti-tattoo?
yeah, he was, he's your old school world. I mean, I don't know if he died the year I was born, so I don't know, but he was your old school. I mean, he was jumping out of planes, killing Nazis in the 40s.
Oh my God.
He was your old tough guy, but he was, my dad was a big marketer, and we really learned it all from my grandpa, because what he used to do is, again, it was a different time. We're Italian. It's a pretty hardcore Italian community. Originally, is how Kenosha was founded. Is these guys would show up with stuff off the back of a truck, nylons, cups, you name it, and so they'd always
cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly, whatever. And all the knickknack stuff, they knew to go to Lou, my grandpa, because he would take it for a nickel on the dollar, and then he would give it away for people with free fill-ups. So it was always some sort of gimmick he was running or something silly, and he had a lot of taglines. My grandpa was a serial entrepreneur, and so we had like a drive-in restaurant, and his famous saying was they would close during the winter, and his saying was something along the lines of closed for the season, the reason it's freezing or something. He was just kind of like gimmicky tagline kind of guy, and always trying to hustle. And so, my dad learned that, and my dad did a lot of commercials back in the day, like on TV when people actually watch TV, or, like the late night kind of stuff. And he would mimic a lot of movies that were popular, whatever. And then when I took over, obviously social media was the thing of our generation. And so tried to do very similar things when it came to marketing.
So question about that, because you have made quite a splash on social media.
He's gotten a little tamer over the years.
Is it a little tamer? But I mean, to all of those points, I mean, exactly. You have to, you've reached a lot of people, and you've made quite a name for yourself, even beyond Kenosha, right? Do you have a strategy, or is it just whatever's going on that day? Do you have a plan? Like, as a marketer, we have strategies, and we have to kind of execute on that strategy. And there's always plans and imagery and things like that that go along with it. How do you approach your social media strategy?
And so my strategy has evolved as I have evolved. When I first came out, I was just interested in trying to catch views and to get to the top of people's feeds. And in my early 20s,
by any means possible, is it just
pretty damn close?
The wildest thing you can say, it's like, oh shoot, I'm gonna like that. I'm following this guy. I mean, hey, it's effective. There's no doubt. And keep going. Sorry.
No, but you're exactly right. I mean, I did some wild stuff that I'm like, not exactly super proud of that, but it got views, it got shares, and it was, people were talking. Sometimes not good, but they were still talking, and everybody was saying the name and looking us up and kind of directing eyes to us. And it was basically whatever was fun and relevant in the moment, I was trying to play into it. And sometimes things worked great. Sometimes it worked completely terrible. Like when I basically there was a moment where they tried to Me Too me because I used an O.J. Simpson meme. There was a time where like every Catholic came after me during Christmas time because I had put at Christmas time, we had this little elf, and we called him Little Lou, and he was a naughty elf. And every day we would use it to promote something we sold in the store. Well, I think it's December 21st is like National Orgasm Day. And so years ago, like it was right during it was like Trump had just gotten elected. Everybody was all pissed off. So I was like, everybody needs an orgasm. And I was promoting the gas station sex pills we sell. Well, learning lesson for me, the day before we just had our like 8th annual Cookies for Santa event with like kids. It was this fun family event. And then the next day I'm posting this elf with 2 naked Barbies with sex pills. And I literally had to sit down with a local lady who was so offended. And on Christmas Eve, she was this big Catholic to-do person in town. And I said, you know what, come see me. I'll talk to you. It was a bad call on mine. I'm not going to take it down, but I'll at least share. You don't know me, so you know I'm not some kind of
You're not a creep.
Lunatic. Yeah, I'm just trying.
I mean, if anyone has ever met Anthony Perrine, you know this guy is full of ideas, full of energy, and full of a lot of love and light. So, I mean, sure, take things with a grain of salt. I think that was really smart on your part to try to, like, hey, just come meet me, come sit, like, let me buy you a piece of ho-ho cake, and come check out my store.
And that's literally what I did. She came in and I gave her a full cake for Christmas Eve for her family, and it was nice. It was fine. And so at that moment, then it was kind of like eye-opening for me, where I had to, because I tend to be a little bit more edgy. I'm not down with cancel culture or all that stuff. Like, I enjoy comedy or being a little less PC. But I realized that I was kind of doing my brand a disservice, because I did have these families that followed us, and I was gaining a lot of traction or a following, but they were kind of a little rough and a little more edgy. And I was like, oh, I just don't want to, not that I don't want business, but it kills my brand here when I knew I was going to open a new store. I was going to try and make this place more family friendly. I was going to do certain things. So that was kind of a tipping point along the time of social media going completely toxic, between 2020. I really tamed down social media, where I tried to actually pass it off to somebody, and we're nowhere near as active as we used to be, just because I got rid of all my personal social media. I actually hate it at this point, because it is so toxic, and it is so
Anthony, you sound like me. I've kind of tapped out of all that too, and sorry to say it, professionally as a marketer, I'm just like, it doesn't really do anything for me. It sounds like Anthony grew up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and in that time, I got married again, and I actually have stepchildren. So now it's I got an 8-year-old. I'm like, oh, I see what everybody was telling me, because I never had biological children. So I was kind of like a wild guy, And
you definitely, just from when we visited you this past summer for Ideas to Go, I mean, you've certainly created exactly what you said. You wanted to be more family friendly. You want to be more welcoming to the community. And you are. I mean, we were in there just, shooting the shit, and it feels like I think school was let out that day for the summer, and kids were coming in. It's like, you knew them by name. You're saying hi. You've got tablets on the tables where they can sit and watch,
oh, that's
whatever
cool.
Streaming services and things like that. And so, I mean, you turned it around.
Tell me about that. You have tablets that kids can come and watch shows and come hang out after school and chill out?
Yeah. So with the Einstein Bagels, the layout of my new location, the city wouldn't approve. There's no logical way to do a drive-through. And so I knew, man, that sucks, especially post-COVID, where drive-through is 99% of all business. So, and I knew that I wanted to create an environment where people could come and hang out. During COVID, I realized, especially with my one location, where we are in a food desert and we serve the melting pot that is America, but a large chunk of our demographics are lower to middle income. And realizing these people, we were the only place they had to go. We were the place that was open. So when they wanted to get the hell out of the house, they came there, and they had to maximize what they could get out of this one little location. And so I really knew, especially as we transition away from fuel and whatever else is happening, these places have to be hubs for everybody to come together. No matter what your race, creed, religion, whatever, everybody needs gas, they need coffee, they need snacks. This is a completely open kind of industry for everybody. And when my city was on fire, I recognized that, what could help is conversation. And so I had always wanted to bring in a place where people can come and hang out, use their laptop, people can get away from the work. Kids can come after school, a safe place. And unfortunately, I was limited to what I can do at our original location, because
there's no space.
There's no space, and it's also the neighborhood's rough. If I'm just going to be honest, with poverty comes, some things you just can't do. If I put tablets there, they better be chained down. They're going to get stolen. Bums, by a train station, the bums will come and hang out there, and it's not doable. So with my new location, I knew it was a different area and I could really get to do some fun things I wanted to do. So one of the things was putting seating in, and I put tablets out there and I pay for Disney Plus and Prime Kids, and it's geared towards children. Adults have cell phones, whatever. But if you're going to bring your kid in for a bagel and they get antsy, you can and you want to be on your phone, my tablet's at the table, Disney Plus is logged in, they can turn on Avengers, or you can go to YouTube Kids. We've got games downloaded for kids that they can keep them occupied, as well as like free Wi-Fi. And then we put a couple tables outside for the summer and some Adirondack. I don't even know how to say that. Those
Adirondacks.
Yes, those kind of chairs. And I got them to match our blue of the building, so it looks nice. And
it seems fatherhood really suits you.
Yeah,
I think you've got a new store. It's ready for kids. You've got Disney Plus. Like, that's really cool. I think I don't know how long you've been married, but 10 years ago, would you have seen this for yourself? And maybe the answer is yes, but it sounds like you've really taken some concepts, and this is something your entire family could be very, very proud of. Yeah, I'm sure your grandpa isn't rolling over his grave here. I'm sure he's very proud of you now. Yeah.
10 years ago, I would have put stripper poles and gambling machines in the back.
That's what I'm talking about. They're two locations, two different vibes. Maybe that's the way to go, right? Got to cover all bases here.
One of my favorite lines that you said during Ideas to Go was that retail is experiential. And I think after seeing both of your stores, you really, know how to capture that. And especially as a two-store operator, with Jared Sheeler, who's now our former chairman, also being a small operator. I mean, I've had the pleasure of meeting like you and Lonnie and Jared and, Chris and those guys. You guys, you might be small, but you're very mighty.
That's a fantastic way of putting it. Small but mighty, indeed.
And it's kind of we've got no choice. We don't have scale where there's certain chains with big letters in their name that they just are quantity and volume. And if you go in their store, specifically out west, it's like, oh my God, why am I here? And so as a little guy, especially one like me where my name's on the building, like there's a lot of, it sucks at times, right? Because when bad things do happen, or if I make a mistake in the community, like my business is hindered, versus if a big chain, the CEO gets in trouble or they have a terrible experience, it's like, well, I hate them, but I'm going to go there anyways because there's another 2 miles down the road. Everybody hates Walmart, but they all shop there. It's like there's certain things you just can't escape. And so because we're smaller, because we are the guys you mentioned, Lonnie and Chris and all the Jared, and I've gotten to know all of them, right? They've been a blessing to me without them even knowing it. We have to think outside the box.
Brilliantly said. Well done. Any final words of wisdom for our audience, Anthony Perrine?
No, it's rough out there. Just keep. It's like Dory. Like every day, I'm like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
Yep.
That's all you can do.
Right. I love it. Chrissy, any final thoughts from you?
No, it's always a pleasure, Anthony. And if anybody wants to check you out, they can go to Kenosha, Wisconsin.
They should go to Kenosha,
Maybe not
Wisconsin.
in the next couple of months because it might be a little snowy and cold and they might get stuck. But, we had a great time visiting you. And of course, they can see more from you at convenience.org/ideas to go and check out, the clip that we made while we visited you. So,
and then figure out how to send ho-ho cake across the country.
Yeah, right.
That is
my
first
next
on the list.
You got it. I promise. Well, I appreciate it, guys. And anybody that is listening, especially smaller, the best thing you can do is get involved with NACS. Man, if you're not involved, if you're not at the show or just trying to get involved at Day on the Hill and stuff, you are doing a disservice to yourself. Because like I had mentioned, Lonnie and all those other guys, I met them through NACS. I met you guys through NACS. You can't do this alone, especially as a little guy.
Well, thank you for that. Words of wisdom, words for all of us to live by. Thank you, Anthony Perrine. We will see you soon.
Convenience Matters is brought to you by NACS and produced in partnership with Human Factor. For more information, visit convenience.org.